Hey guys, Jay with ebodyboarding.com. I'm going to show you a super basic thing. A lot of people are very intimidated by this. It's installing a leash in a bodyboard. So let's first talk about where to install the leash, because that question comes up a lot. Let's start with an entry-level board. Entry-level boards generally come with a leash pre-installed, almost always in the top center, because they don't have stringers in them. A stringer is a graphite rod on the inside of a bodyboard that keeps the board from over flexing. So in entry-level boards, that decision is off the table. Once you get away from the entry-level boards and into the better quality boards, they tend to have stiffening rods or stringers on the inside. And where are those stringers? That's very important to know, because when you install the leash, you do not want to hit one of the stringers. Sounds scarier than it really is. Most bodyboard brands will put stickers on the slick side of the board, on the shrink wrap, to indicate how many stringers are in the board. Now, let me point out something. This board, for example, has two stickers and it says "do not plug here," which is supposed to indicate where the stringers are. Generally speaking, in a double stringer board, they are about halfway between the center and each edge of the board. So this sticker may not represent the exact location of the stringer. I will tell you this, 99 out of 100 times, a double stringer board, as I said, the stringers will be about halfway between each edge of the board. So on a double stringer board, you always want to put that leash somewhere near the middle, within a couple inches of the middle. Other brands do not have any indicator of the stringers, but if you've ordered the board on our website and read the description carefully, it will tell you. This board, for example, the Tribe Guard, is a single stringer board. Single stringer board will always have the stringer going right up the middle, so you cannot install the leash in the center. You want to do it left or right side. Where to install the leash, right or left, is a personal preference. I'll give you an example. Myself, I ride in what's called the drop knee stance, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you now. That's where I ride with one knee and one foot on the board. My swim fin will be up here on the left side of the board because I am a regular foot drop knee rider. So if I put the leash on the left side, I'll step on it every time. So as a regular foot drop knee rider, I always want to put my leash on the right side of the board. So in a board like this, that's a double stringer, I would put my leash slightly right of center. I can't go too far over, or again, I'll hit that stringer. So I'll go slightly right of center, and it'll be out of the way when I drop knee ride. Okay, so that's leash installation. You have to consider also the arm that you're wearing the leash on. If you're strictly a prone rider, you're lying down on the board only, you're going to install the leash preferably on the side that you wear the leash on. For me, that's my right arm. So if I didn't ride in that drop knee stance, I would put the leash on the right side. Again, on a double stringer board, slightly right of center, or dead center works really well also. For a prone rider. Okay, how to install leash. This is super simple. Your leash will generally come with a leash plug. In fact, every leash we sell comes with a leash plug. It looks like this. It looks like, well, I'll call this a spindle. A leash plug has a screw, which is the male end and the female end. This goes in the top of the board. This goes in the bottom of the board. This is super basic. Tools that you'll need to install. We use here a drill, and the key is to make sure that the drill bit is the same or slightly smaller diameter than the screw, because if the drill bit is bigger, it's going to make the hole too big and there'll be some play there in the leash plug. You want it to fit nice and snug. But you don't want the drill bit so small that you can't actually get the screw into the board. So a drill works great. If you're in a pinch, you don't have any tools, you can also use a screwdriver and push it through the board. But the key is when you get to the slick bottom, it gives you a little bit of resistance. So this board in particular has a right side install on it. So I know where to install the leash. Again, it's personal preference. For me, a right install will go right about here. That's roughly about 6 inches down from the nose and about halfway between the center and the right edge of the board. I don't want to put it too far to the right because that's where your arm is going to be. And I don't want to put it too far forward because, as you can see here, the board thins out up towards the nose and the leash plug will not sit recessed into the slick because of this curvature. So you don't want to go too high or too far over or you're going to have a problem. Additionally, you don't want to go too far down or you're going to lay on top of the leash plug. So again, about 6 inches down, about halfway over is my favorite spot. And all I do is make sure that this is nice and straight. It's not tilted at an angle. And I'm going to push it straight through the board. And it punctures right through the slick. Now what I'll do is I pull it out. I'm going to rotate it a little bit to give a little more room to get that top female piece into the deck of the board. So you saw how I spun the drill around there to give myself a little bit more room to get this piece into the top. So all I do now is push this piece in here, get my palm of my hand and put some force into that. And you'll notice that it's sticking up. I want it to be flush or recessed. The problem with this board is it's a very thin board and this screw is on the longer side. So you may have to, if you want it to sit really recessed, clip the screw. And I already know that this one's a little bit too long, so I take these cutters, and you can use a hacksaw or whatever you have, a knife even, and I'm going to cut about 1/4 inch of the screw off with the cutters. Just snip it right off. And that enables me then to screw it in more tightly. So I push the male into the bottom, and this is a little tricky sometimes, lining up the male piece with the female piece on the inside of the board. It's always a challenge, but you keep at it and you're going to get it. And once I have it hand tight, you can use a flathead screwdriver, preferably a larger one that will fit into that slot. You can even use a coin. And what I've found is you want to get a really tight screw here with the coin. You can put the coin in and get pliers and twist the coin with pliers. But we have this really gigantic flathead screwdriver that works great. And you'll notice I'm cranking that in and you'll see that the screw is now recessed. And if I want to get it even more recessed, I can just unscrew it and clip even a little bit more of that male end of the screw, clip a little bit more of the plastic off so I can get it a little bit tighter. And we've already covered in another video how to attach the leash to the string, because a lot of times when we ship the boards, we untie this string so that it doesn't dent the board in shipping. And you can click the link above to see that video to see how to attach the leash to the string. And that's the simple way to attach a leash to a bodyboard.